Hey, everyone! Firstly, I'd like to apologize for the YouTube thumbnail title. It is impossible to learn music theory in one video. However, what I can do is guide you through the basic elements and structures of music in general. Today, let's look at how music is made and learn some music theory step by step. The steps I'm about to show you aren't fixed, they're quite versatile. This means you can jump forward and backward between them. Without further ado, let's get started. The first step starts with inspiration. Now I know it sounds boring, but this is the very beginning of the step. Just like how we make storyboards for video production, music has its own story. Is it about your life? Or perhaps, is it about your waifu? What inspires you to make music? Here, you need to decide what you want to convey to your audience. This is where it all begins. The next step is timbre. You need to choose the texture of the sound. Here, you are choosing the musical color. Is your song happy or sad? Define your emotions: happiness, sadness, disgust, anger, surprise, and fear. Maybe you are horny.
I'm horny!
The point is, how would you like to express your story? Simultaneously, you also decide on the music genre you want to create. We have classical, electronic, hip-hop, and more. So, choose both your music genre and emotion. The third step is intensity, referring to volume. However, what I want to emphasize here is the selection of your protagonist's instruments. It could be the violin, cello, guitar, or drums. It might even be the lead vocal. Based on your main instruments, you need to adjust your volume accordingly. That's the purpose of this step. Of course, like in an orchestra, every instrument can be a protagonist. In this case, you have two options. You can either make all instruments volume consistent or, on the contrary, make each one sound differently in volume. It depends on your choice here. The fourth step is pitch and time. This is where music theory begins. But first, we need to clarify our definition. We can divide the definition into X and Y. If we express it in the form of a graph with X and Y axis, where Y equal pitch and X equal time. Let's start with the pitch. So, what is pitch? The term pitch comes from the Old English word pick, which means a point or spike. In the context of sound, it likely refers to the point or position of a sound on a frequency. Pitch also refers to the perceived highness or lowness of a sound. Here, we will learn things related to pitch. That includes scale, mode, and interval. A scale is a collection of musical notes ordered by pitch, like C major, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. The word a scale has Latin origins, coming from a scala, meaning ladder or staircase, reflecting the idea of ascending or descending steps of pitch. Mode is similar to a scale. The term mode was used in the Greek and medieval periods. However, from the Baroque and Renaissance eras to the present day, we prefer to use the term scale rather than a mode. We express the distance between two pitches as an interval. An interval is probably the most important concept. The reason why we learn intervals is that there is a pattern in music, and understanding the distance between each musical note helps us comprehend it better. If you open DAW like Cubase, we can see piano roll view. As you can see, Y-axis have piano keyboard and each keyboard have distance call interval. You might be wondering, why do we need to know the distance between pitches? What can we learn from this? Well, it's kind of like what the FBI forensic team does, dissecting a dead body to find clues about a crime. Similarly, we dissect our popular music to figure out why a song is popular. Music is full of certain patterns. For example, if I play C3 and D3 at the same time, the sound is a bit unpleasant. We call this dissonance. But if we play C3 and D3, the sound gets better. And C3 and G5 make it even more pleasant. We call this consonance. Simply put, there's a pattern, and we're trying to find the harmony key, and intervals are the clues. So, that's pitch and its related key terms. Now let's delve into time. X is equal to time. When we talk about time, we are referring to rhythm, and rhythm is a pattern in time. Here, you'll find key terms related to time, such as rhythm, tempo, syncopation, and hemiola. Rhythm is the pattern of durations and accents in music. It organizes time in music. Rhythm is like the special pattern of beats and claps in music, the fun and bouncy part that makes you want to dance or tap your feet. Let's experience rhythm quickly with a simple exercise. That's rhythm, and this is a very popular song rhythm. When we have a popular rhythm that is so iconic that you know which song I played, it is called a motive. If you want to know which song I played, I'll leave the answer in the comments section. So, let's clarify the rhythm definition. When we tap our foot or clap our hands in time, it's called a beat. The moment we stop clapping is called silence. Simply put, rhythm equal beat plus silence. When we talk about tempo, we're referring to how fast or slow the beat is, essentially the speed of the music. We use BPM, which stands for beats per minute, as a unit to measure and express the tempo of a piece of music. For example, I love frames per second, FPS. In music, beats per minute, so BPM. If we go back to video tutorials, videos have a standard FPS, depending on the genre. For example, animation will have 24 FPS as standard, YouTube videos will have 30 FPS, and games usually have 60 FPS. Similarly, in music, there are standards for each music genre. For instance, pop and rock music usually fall within the range of 100 to 130 BPM, EDM about 120 to 140, and hip-hop 80 to 100. Ballads and slow songs have a BPM below 80. While BPM is more versatile, it's important to note that tempos vary within genres. The standard BPM varies with style and artistic choices. Musicians choose a tempo that suits the mood and energy of their music. Syncopation is a disturbance or interruption of the regular flow of rhythm. Syncopation in music is like adding a surprise or a little bounce when you expect something else. It's like when you clap your hands, but instead of clapping on the usual strong beat, you clap on the offbeat or in between. It makes the music more interesting and fun. Hemiola means a cross rhythm. It involves creating a temporary shift in the rhythm. Syncopation is similar. It's like adding unexpected beats. However, hemiola is specifically about briefly altering the regular rhythm pattern. Essentially, syncopation is a shorter version, and hemiola is a longer version of the same definition. The next step is melody. In this step, we are considering both pitch and rhythm simultaneously, combining the y-axis and x-axis. We can say that melody equal pitch plus time. Melody is a series of musical tones that sound like one connected thing. The word melody comes from the Greek word meloidia, which means singing. Melodies were first linked to singing and then expanded to include instrumental compositions. Typically in music theory, we talk about melody when individual musical notes play together. Next, we have harmony. Harmony has many meanings, but essentially, it means blending well. In music theory, harmony refers to the simultaneous combination of different musical notes or chords, creating a pleasant musical sound when playing musical notes together. Harmony can also be understood in macro and micro terms. On the macro level, think about an orchestra. If we have a chord, like the piano chord I showed you, spreading it across 40 musicians with everyone playing the same note would be loud and inefficient. Instead, I might ask 10 people to play C3, 20 people to play E3, and the remaining to play G3. That's much more efficient, and this process is what we call harmony. On the micro level, think about playing just one note, like A3. Inside A3, different frequencies mix together, making what we call a harmonic series. In summary, melody means playing notes individually, and harmony usually involves chords, often referring to a triad, meaning 3 notes played simultaneously. Now, if we break down a chord, just like how we do with melody, we call this process arpeggiation. Arpeggiation refers to the playing of the individual notes of a chord in a sequence rather than all at once. Instead of playing all the notes together, they are played one after the other. This technique can create a flowing and melodic effect. For example, if you have a C major chord, C, E, G, arpeggiating it would mean playing C, then E, then G in a sequence. Phrases in music are essentially musical sentences. Here's an example. If we take a few of these phrases and put them together, we get a section. The form is essentially the structure of the song, made up of more than one section, like this. So far, we talked about how music is made. In music theory, we usually begin with pitch and go up to phrases. Once you get this big picture, understanding music theory becomes easier. Now, for your homework. And yes, we have homework. Pick any music theory book and take a look at the table of contents. Most likely, you will recognize what we have covered today. As an example, let's try this one together. Let's explore. We come across the word pitch. What does pitch mean? To simplify, when we see the word pitch, think of the y-axis like a piano roll view. Here, we learn about scale, mode, and, most importantly, interval. Next, we encounter tone and timbre. Timbre is the texture of sound, and tone is a pattern waveform that gives us musical sound. Think waves like square, triangle, and sawtooth. Let's keep scrolling down. I see interval. What was that again? We're talking about the y-axis, and interval is the distance between two pitches. There's also a scale and mode. They're basically the same thing. Historically, mode was used in Greek and medieval times. After that, we started using the term scale. Tell me, which axis do scale and mode belong to? Yep, that's right, the y-axis, or pitch. Now, the familiar word harmony comes up. What does harmony mean again? Blending well. Simply put, playing notes simultaneously together, a chord. And then we have a melodic. Something is melodic. What does that mean? Again, simple, playing notes individually. Here we go again with a chord. What is a chord? It belongs to harmony. We haven't covered some parts, but that's okay. We'll get to those in the future. Now, I see a rhythm. What is rhythm? X-axis. It relates to time. A beat is the footstep or clap we did earlier. And what is a tempo? The speed of sound. Beats per minute. So overall, this chapter basically talks about the x-axis, time. Syncopation pops up. Syncopation is intentionally offbeat. Again, we revisit timbre, and we also have a dynamic. Dynamic is about volume or intensity. Consonance means a pleasant sound, while a dissonance means an unpleasant sound. Once more, harmony, playing notes together. There might be parts we don't know yet, but that's alright. We'll gradually cover those in the future. This is a great starting point for learning music theory. At this point, you won't have any trouble understanding music theory. What I covered today becomes the backbone of your music theory journey. All we need to do next is add more detail to each step. If you're still finding it challenging to learn, don't worry because I'm here with you. So, let's learn together. Next tutorial, we'll start our journey to pitch, the language of music. Merry Christmas, everyone. Oh. And remember, Santa Claus only gives gifts to rich kids.